20 years ago, we thought the future with vehicles was so bright and so cool, but now it's just depressing.
That motherfucker right there is a gas guzzler.
Just got it watched.
Fuck the Tesla!
Brother, this car only got 3,000 miles.
GM just asked the government to make it illegal for you to fix your own car. Not suggested. Not preferred. Illegal. And the reason they gave: the software is too dangerous for the public. The real reason: they need you at the dealership, because that's where the money actually is. Subscribe, because they're not going to tell you this themselves.
I really shouldn't be too surprised by this, but it's one of those things I gotta ask. So I drive a 2025 Chevy Trailblazer, not by choice. I would never ever recommend getting one of these cars. It sucks, it's a piece of shit, and I just don't like newer cars. There's just way too much tech into them and just more problems to happen. Anyways, had an engine light come on the other day, stayed on all day, then eventually went off. I was like, okay. And then came on yesterday, had cruise control on, and then it turned the cruise control off on its own, like, what the hell? And it was off today, took it in, it ended up being, it's a speed sensor that's going bad in it. And so I'll take it to the dealership next week and get that fixed. But my thing is, with all the tech that's in these cars now, you would think when an engine light comes on, it would tell you right on the dashboard, self-diagnostic, hey, here's what's going on, here's the issue, this is why your engine light is on. But no, you still got to take it in for them to check it and all that shit. Maybe they have that option in the other cars, maybe more expensive cars, I'm not sure. But I don't know why you couldn't just do that in something like this. Just put on the screen why the engine light's on. But anyways, yeah, that'll be fun to get fixed.
I don't know if it's Honda, but y'all make y'all windshields so fucking cheaply made. Like, I had a fucking a 2007 fucking Honda, and you know how many rocks hit my fucking window, and the shit never cracked, but if it did, it never spared it. This is a 2021, y'all. This shit started from that little ass crack right there, if I can see that. Now this shit spread it all over my fucking window. Like, Honda, y'all making these cars so motherfucking cheap. Y'all gotta do better, man.
So now Ford and GM are saying they don't want us to work on their vehicles? Good. We don't want to work on their junk anyway. So if you haven't heard yet, the suits from GM and Ford went and met with President Trump last week, and they tried to get him to introduce a bill that prevents guys like me and you from working on their cars. Basically, they're wanting to restrict the Right to Repair Act because the software they're putting in their new cars is dangerous when it's in the hands of the public. But let me tell you what's really going on. You see, when Ford builds and sells a truck like this, they don't make very much off the sale of the truck. I mean, the dealership gets a piece of it, the salesman, a whole lot of people get a piece of the action, so Ford doesn't have much meat left on the bone. So what do? Well, they try to make it up with repairs in the dealership and by selling parts for their crappy car. And nobody likes going to the dealership to get their cars repaired anymore because they overcharge, they don't tell you the truth, and they upsell everything. But this way, they could force you to go to the dealership so they could get the money for the repairs. You see, it's no secret that vehicles Ford and GM have been making aren't as good as the ones that they used to make. And is this on purpose? I think so. I mean, what other reason would Ford have to put a plastic transmission pan on a nicely designed 10-speed transmission? The answer's simple. They're under-designing them in the factory and then making you pay for the repairs later on so they can make more money. And now what they're trying to do is restrict the information so you and me can't repair it, and you gotta take it to the dealership to get it fixed. And Ford's not alone in this either. GM is making crap too. I mean, their 8-speed transmissions paired up to the 6.2 liter, practically the worst powertrain you can buy right now. And even if you do take it to the dealership, they probably won't even have the parts to repair it right on site. You'll have to wait a few weeks, maybe even months. I've been trying to tell y'all these companies are doing this stuff, and now they're just being completely open about it. It's like they don't even care anymore. They're burning junkyards, building junk, and forcing you to go to them just so you could fix it. It's crazy. 20 years ago, we thought the future with vehicles was so bright and so cool, but now it's just depressing. And the only thing I know to do is just keep working and building these old vehicles, which I truly love to do. And that is what I'm going to concentrate on now. Like this dune buggy. I'm gonna put a 200 horsepower Honda engine in it and make it the most baddest thing on the internet.
If there ain't one thing I did in my life that was financially smart to me, that was leasing my fucking vehicles. That motherfucker right there is a gas guzzler. and lost so much value. Now, I don't care if you jump in the comments talking about, oh, the miles. I don't give a fuck about the miles. What is it, like 10 cents for every mile you go over? That does not matter to me. What matters is I can give this bitch back without having to roll over negative equity or bring some money to the table just to close the deal. I don't want to do it. Now, what you gonna catch me in on the daily when I'm by myself without them kids? Exhibit A. Oh, Rusty Dusty? Boy, she's solid. We'll be riding too.
Espérame. Open the door.
Es el starter que se quiere quedar pegado.
A ver, yo sabía.
Se quedó pegado el starter. Yo por eso no quería agarrar uno de estos. ¿Te acuerdas que decía que no?
Regresala ahorita.
The dealer denied the warranty on this 2024 Cummins. Here's some of the story and the details on this. So this is a 2024 in a 5500 truck that had the flex plate break on it. The flex plate goes to the back of the engine here, and it was broken, which is unusual on such a new truck, but it was. They replaced it. 2,000 miles later, it broke again. Why the crap did that happen? So they replaced it again, and then here's where it gets really interesting and really bad. 1,000 miles later, this broke. All the bolts were broken. A few we were able to just get out by hand, but then the front of the crank snout is broken, and this dowel is broken. It got so bad that it cracked the edge of the timing cover, and then it broke these bolts as well. Extremely unusual, and usually something like this happens when the harmonic balancer is removed and then not put back on properly or loose. Usually this happens because something was left loose. Now, who left it loose, why it was left loose, was it even taken off? Those details we don't have. We just have the carnage here that happened. But this is a very unusual failure that has cost this customer a ton of money after being at 3 dealerships.
Turn it. Brother, this car only got 3,000 miles.
All right, anybody that has a GMC Yukon Denali, a Tahoe, an Escalade that has a 6.2 liter motor in it, or a Silverado, you know the issues that are affected. Every truck from 2021 to 2024 and now to 2026s have a problem. So what happened was GM produced this engine, and these engines, what's happening now is they're losing power. So I don't know if you've been following my page for a while. A couple months ago, I was on the road. I get off on an off ramp, and all of a sudden, I just lose power. The truck just dies on me, right? There's no engine power, nothing, whatever, no. So the truck obviously got towed to the dealer, ended up getting another truck. Next thing you know, guess what's happening? They're losing power. Like you feel a flutter. You feel like the trucks are losing. So GM actually had a fix, right? What they said was, okay, some trucks, they could change the oil and put thicker oil in it. And that should be the fix. And then some trucks came in, they did a test to them, and they replaced the engines in them, and they gave them a warranty. They backdated the warranty from the beginning of, like, first in-service date to 150,000 miles. Now, plus they got the engine. So we thought that's the fix, right? We figured, okay, you're going to get a new engine. It's all done. Well, guess what's happening? The new engines are acting up too. The one that General Motors are putting in, they are now being faulty. And on top of that, now what happened is this thing is starting to go. Let me show you right here. Hold on one second. So now in these newer trucks, they got rid of the old transmission that used to be here. The gear shift is gone, okay? Now they put a push-button transmission in it, and the push-button transmissions are locking up. So what's happening is you could be driving, and your rear wheels are going to lock up on the car, and that's it. So what they did was they came out with a new recall, where they're recalling the transmission, but instead of fixing it, they're putting a monitoring system in it, and what the monitor does is it tells you that in 5,000 miles, your transmission is going to go and your wheels are going to lock up, so go see a dealer. There's no fix to it, okay? Even though General Motors says there's a fix, there's no fix. So what do all these people do? At this point, there are almost 1 million trucks on the road that have this issue. And it's getting worse by the day because there's more cars on the road that are having this issue. And just when you think they fixed it, they didn't fix it. GM has a major problem. They're being investigated now, and there's class action lawsuits. This is only affects the 6.2 L87 motor. So if you got the other 5.7 motor, you're okay. So if you got the Suburban or a Tahoe with the smaller motor, you're okay. But if you got a Denali, you got an Escalade, or you got a Suburban like High Country with the thing, you got a problem. I want to hear, did you have any issues with this? Because I want to hear your horror stories. Because I know what mine, I was on an off-ramp and it just died on an off-ramp.
20 years ago, people thought the future of cars was going to be incredible. More technology, smarter engines, better everything. What they actually got was a 2025 Chevy Trailblazer with an engine light that won't tell you what's wrong, and a speed sensor going bad at under 2 years old. A Honda windshield from 2021 that cracks from a single rock when the 2007 model survived years of highway abuse without a scratch. And a 2024 Cummins, brand new, that broke its flex plate. Got it fixed. Broke again at 2,000 miles. Got fixed again. Then broke so badly at 3,000 miles that it cracked the timing cover, snapped multiple bolts, and left the owner bouncing between 3 dealerships with no answers and a very large bill. 3,000 miles. The car is newer than most people's phone cases. But here's the part that nobody wanted to say out loud, and then Ford and GM said it out loud themselves. They went to Washington and asked the government to make it illegal for you to repair your own car. Not suggested. Not preferred. Illegal. Because the software in their vehicles is dangerous in the hands of the public. That's the reason they gave. The actual reason is simpler. Ford doesn't make much money selling you the truck. The dealership takes a cut. The salesman takes a cut. By the time the sale clears, there's not much left. So they designed the repair process to be the product. Plastic transmission pans on $80,000 trucks. Push-button transmissions on GM trucks that lock up the rear wheels while you're driving. And the fix GM issued is a monitoring system that tells you your transmission is going to fail in 5,000 miles. Go see a dealer. Not a fix. A countdown timer. Almost 1 million trucks on the road have this issue right now. New engines they replace them with are failing too. Class action lawsuits are open. GM is under investigation. And their official response is essentially, "We know, here's a warning, good luck." The mechanic in one of these clips said it best. Ford and GM don't want you working on their vehicles anymore? Fine. Nobody wants to work on their junk anyway. 20 years ago, the future looked bright. Now it looks like a check engine light that won't tell you what's wrong. Hit subscribe if you want to keep watching. And tell me in the comments, have you had a nightmare experience at a dealership? Because I have a feeling the comments section on this one is going to be very busy.